Christmas. You know, I got up a little while ago and I was so depressed. I was really depressed. And of I thought of the food I was making, and I thought of the presents I had and didn't have, and the wrapping I hadn't done, and my house which was now way too full, and all these negative things were flooding my mind. And I have to get the turkey in the oven, but some of my family are vegan, and why would you make a turkey when everybody's vegan? But Abe's not vegan, and I think Abe would like to have. Abe has schizophrenia. He's under treatment, right? So he's all totally taken care of. So he would like. I think he would like Thanksgiving. I mean, he would like a turkey and potatoes, and I think he would eat that whole thing. Shouldn't have told you about it. Look, I have a drumstick. You know, when you have a drumstick, do you know what you do with it? I don't think everybody knows. My daughter doesn't do it. You take it and you hang it on one of the handles of your cupboards, probably above the stove, like that. You put it there, and then you and someone else, or two children, they each get one end of the drumstick and they pull it, and the one that gets the top wins. Okay, so so if you have a challenge you really need help with, then you get out the drumstick and you pull the drumstick and see who wins. Okay, my mother always put it up there, and I never thought about it. I think I must have done it over the years. I can't imagine not doing it, because what else can I do with a drumstick? But I think that I don't notice the drumstick in the carcass a lot of times. Okay, just a moment, please. Dear Heavenly Father, as thou knowest, this whole Christmas thing is extremely big and overwhelming. It's the biggest thing in the whole year. And I appreciate all the help that I've gotten from thee lately, so I have gotten as far as I have. And of course, I was in Georgia, and I was very busy down there, and I get back, and then I've got 2 days till Christmas. And so I've been unpacking and sorting and washing, and I've been baking. I really have done a lot of stuff for Christmas this year. And I sent Willem out to do gifts, and I don't even know what they are. And now, as I have to do the turkey and finish the rest of it, bless me that I won't be stressed. Please put the negative thoughts away, get them away from my head. There's so much when I have to deal with all the negative self-talk on top of just the workload. So please bless me that I will feel upstanding like your daughter, like I'm doing the best I can. And this is not very big, my best is not someone else's best. But thank you for helping me with my best, which I better not ever compare to anybody, because, Anyway, thank you so much for being with me, and thank you for helping me. And I ask now that thou continue to help me as I prepare, and help me flip over all that negative self-talk with positive stuff. And this I pray in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Good morning. Okay, now I'm ready for a video. It's very early. I went to bed about 6 last night because it was all just too overwhelming and my back hurt, and I didn't want to sit in that chair, and all I could do was eat, and I ate all those gluten-free cookies. Do you remember them? This is like a soap opera. You see, you have to watch the next video to see the end of the last one. So there's the gluten-free cookies I made yesterday. They taste different. They're not sweet. They're dry. I could have added more honey. I should have added a lot more honey if I were going to try and make it sweet. But I just wanted sweetness last night, so I just took the honey and put it on one side, and then I put it on the other side. God grief, Nancy, what is happening here? Anyway, so I went to bed. I had sulfur burps. Ugh. Too much information, right? Okay, so I got up feeling totally discouraged, totally unprepared, totally not behind the eight ball, which is where I usually end up at this moment on Christmas. Hey, look, there's some gluten-free flour right there. I wasn't going to make a video because I was too bummed out, and then I thought, the thought came to me, which means it's not my thought, but it's a good thought, maybe from Heavenly Father, maybe it's a prompting of the Spirit, that I needed to share my feelings because somebody out there might be dreading Christmas. They might be really, really dreading Christmas and feel very insecure about whatever gifts they got or whatever someone expects and they're not going to deliver on. There's a lot of stuff like that. I don't know though. Like, it's my imagining that there's a lot of stuff like that. It's all in my head, isn't it? I think about what Abe would want and what Scarlett would want and what Elida wouldn't want anything. And Scarlett probably wouldn't want anything. And maybe Abe doesn't want anything. And do I know? How do I know? Have they told me they want something? No. Well, Abraham asked what he was getting for Christmas, so I think that he is expecting something. Look, I have a half bottle in a water bottle. This is infused with plastic chemicals. Cheerio. I have these places in my back. You know, you have bone spurs. As you get older, I think your bones grow spurs. It's kind of a wriggly skirt that goes around the vertebrae on all sides. So you remember those kind of things we used to use for pie cutters? I could never figure out how it was supposed to be used. I think you actually were supposed to just push it along the edge of the pie crust. But it was a wiggly blade, and it was a circle, and it was attached to a little handle, and it spun. So you could cut a crooked line. Anyway, if you took one of those little discs and you put it on its end, horizontally, that's what bone spurs are. I have a cheese croissant bag right here. I can't eat cheese croissant. Oh, let's see what happened there. I threw my bag away. I think I like standing better than sitting now. But I have to hold my head up high. And I can't be doing dishes. If I'm doing dishes, I think it's the motion, holding your arms out here somewhere. And right across there, somewhere there. I don't know if it's like muscle cramps or if it's just one muscle. But man, am I ever dealing with that lately. So standing sometimes feel better. And sometimes putting your, do your shoulders like that and put them back. That helps too. Anyway, so here I am at this junction point of I'm going to put the turkey in. But there's these misgivings because some people are vegan. Really vegan. But they eat eggs. Maybe they eat other things. Anyway, they don't eat turkey. So, I think there's nothing as nice as a traditional Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. You know, on Christmas, my mother we would open the gifts, and then my mother would leave, and she'd go in the kitchen, because she just sort of was always in the kitchen. That's just what, I'd always want her to come in and sit down, and she never came in and sat down. She was always in the kitchen, and she would come in and sit for just a minute, and then she'd be gone again. I guess that's what Mary does, and that's what, maybe I do that. I don't think so. I don't really go in the kitchen a lot. Is this at an angle? Are you looking up at the end of my hair? Because it doesn't look as long as it's supposed to be. Maybe it's just yellow hair. It's amazing. I thought I had white hair. I mean, when it was short, it was white, and now there's so much of it that's brown. Or I look so much younger with long hair. Gosh. cut it because somebody thought, I don't remember why I cut it. Forget that. Okay. Right. Got to do a turkey thing. And turkey has all those germs. And you have to be so careful because you can get salmonella and pass it all around. And everybody freaks out about it. So, if you cook it hot enough, you kill the salmonella. But if you don't cook it hot enough, you don't kill it. Therein lies the problem. Let's get some lights on in here. What did you think of that moment of darkness? Was it okay? You still with me? Okay. I'm with you. Look, mayonnaise is out. I never put mayonnaise in refrigerators. She says, closing the door of the refrigerator after putting the mayonnaise in. Eggs do not go in the refrigerator because they will absorb everything in the refrigerator. And you really don't know what that means. Neither do I. Okay, so these things go in here. You know, I've almost got this house in order. Of course, more people are in the house, so it's not staying the way I put it. You know, my family reads the stuff I put on the walls. Isn't that cool? So I could put things on the walls that I want people to think about. I didn't think about that, but it's all about integrity. I gave this to my mom. You can see it's backwards, right? But if this is backwards, is my kitchen backwards? I don't know. All right, we'll put this over here. You know, I am trying to eliminate plastic from my life. I don't want to be any part of the problem. I just want to be part of the solution. I can't really do that because I live out in the woods. And I have a long way to drive if I go anywhere. But I am driving a lot less. And I did not fly to Georgia. I did not fly. So I do not need to plant 218 trees. But I'm going to plant them, the whole valley. I'm just going to forest the valley. But I'm not going to forest it like every this. I'm going to randomly put things in. I will maybe start with a dozen, I don't know, maples, and then a couple dozen elms, and a dozen oaks, and then I'll put in hemlocks where it's steep. And I know just where to get them. There's a path. I'm making a path, and there's these little hemlocks. They're about this tall, and they're right in the path. I will put them, I'll move them. That would be perfect, because I don't want to cut hemlocks. Never, ever, ever cut a hemlock. I'll kill a hemlock. I don't know why. My father loved hemlocks, and he tried for years for hemlocks to grow in Georgia. You know, I feel so much more connected to my parents having just been to Georgia where they lived for the last 50 years. And you know, they had this forest and it goes down and there's a river at the bottom. And there's ticks. And I just don't like going in those woods. I don't want anything to do with that area. But we had to do their ashes. They wanted to be in the river. I have many strange feelings about all those ideas. But anyway, But so we did that. Cynthia and I went down there and we threw the ashes, and I took photos. I took a photo of her throwing the ashes, and so the ashes is all that's in that photo. It's got a flat top, and then it's falling. And so this is just it's kind of like this and this or something, and it's the most beautiful little point on it. It's the most beautiful photo. I show it to you, but you know you're in my phone. So being down there has been very interesting. Very, very interesting. Going through the many boxes of my mother's. I want to go back. I really want to go back. As soon as Christmas is over, I want to just get in the car and go back. What's with that? I want to finish. I didn't finish going through everything. I knew I would get home and feel that way. But I really need to finish looking through those boxes of pictures and all those things. I don't want them to go in the garbage. I need to look through them. But I got so tired, and it was so hard. I have to remind myself, what can I really do? But you see, I really can't do much. But if I say, here's Jesus Christ right beside me. If I say, I put my arm through his and I say, we got this. And when I put my arm through his, I don't know, you could try it at home. But when I put my arm through his, my imagining of who he is really gets involved. And he is the most peaceful person. He's not all uptight. He's so peaceful. So I put my arm through his, and somehow I feel his peace. And I know his promises are that he can do all things, and that he can do all things through him that are good, or whatever it is. And so doing this one thing, I relax. I physically relax. My muscles relax. I take a deeper breath. It's over. I don't have to do it all. Whatever's the most important is where he's going to lead me. And can I argue with that? Is there anything I have that's more important than that? He knows this is all important in its own way. He knows what I want. And now, I don't have to want it so bad. I just have to let him help me. And he's giving me what I want. And I trust him. And so, I'll just follow him around. We got this. We can do it. I can do difficult things. It's not because I'm a super person. It's because I have a trick. You know, there's this yoke in the scriptures and in the Messiah. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. His burden is light. Okay, so my yoke is easy. A yoke is what two oxen are held together by, right? And so you put the two oxen in, and they both push the same amount of strength. One is a little stronger, he's kind of pulled back. If one is a little weaker, he's helped along. Generally, you take two oxen that are not. It's good if you have equally yoked oxen. But if you have an oxen that won't do anything and you put it with some that will, that would help get the job done, but it wouldn't be the best idea. Anyway, so the Savior and I, if I am yoked with all the stuff I got to do, whatever it is, it can be anything. I had to go to Georgia. My brother died, and anyway, we won't figure that all out. But anyway, you never know what's coming up, right? So I got stuff I have to deal with. And in my stuff I have to deal with are the most important and the not so important and the totally not important. Good, better, best. How do they say that? It's like emergency. There's certain levels of importance of things. And there is the important but not pressing, pressing but not important, not important, not pressing, important and pressing. And they say you've got to do the important. Right now you have to do the important and pressing. Then you have to do the important and not pressing. Get the importance out of the way, and then you can do the not important pressing and the not important not pressing. Oh, well, let's get on with it here, shall we? Let's put some of these silverwares away. Maybe I should put that turkey in first. And I have just the pan saved for this very occasion. Christmas morning, and if I wake up those children early, the whole house has to get up. Dear Heavenly Father, please help me stay on the track. In Jesus Christ, amen. Where are the sink to put this in? Hi, I've got a live video going here. Probably don't want to be in it.
Sorry.
Good morning, Abe. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Love you. So, to make a turkey, if you don't already know, you open it up, you wash it out, you rub the inside with salt. And you stuff it if you want to. Did you already know how to do a turkey? I'm not sure why I had to make this video this morning, but I felt very impressed that somebody out there needed it. How did they get the skin over that leg? Is this done by hand then? Or machine done? Oh, I know what's wrong. It's no longer very proud. That is not bad. There it is. You have to open it up. And then you have to take out the neck, which they stick inside of it. You're not supposed to cook a turkey from frozen. But you know, I've been buying turkeys lately that you do cook from frozen. Look, they're stuffed. There's a hole in the side of this turkey, and it's just, look at this. It's spraying out the side. Hey, if you're watching this on a big TV, I don't look so far away, do I? They also put stuff in the neck. Yeah, kidney or liver and liver in the heart and the gizzard or something. Which I never end up using. Or if I do cook them, of course I'm not cooking them before I make the turkey, so or smoking the stuffing. Which you could do, that would probably be a good idea. We used to raise chickens a long time ago. It doesn't seem like that long ago. One of those phases I went through. Been through a lot of phases in my life. Some people stick with things. Like when I was driving a bus, the people that were driving the bus have been driving it for 20 years. I could never give away my whole life to driving a bus. I got the neck out. It's not frozen yet. Okay. I rinse it out. Keep your back straight and don't slouch. Alright. I have to come all the way over there. Hey, you wanna fly? He flies through the air with the greatest of ease. How can you cook this poor baby? Okay, so get some salt. The daring young man. Now I won't be able to double dip in the salt, right? On account of the germs that you can move around in these chickens. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I have a wonderful idea. You know these gluten-free cookies I made yesterday? They're bean based, right? So what if I've got to wash my hands better? And I'll have to put that one in the laundry because I don't know if I had chicken germs on me. It's important you always cook your chicken thoroughly enough. It's got to reach a certain temperature in the middle, and it always says on the bag. But if you put it in at 300 for hours and hours, I think it needs 15, at 350 I think it's 15 minutes per pound, or something like that. That seems wrong. Okay, so I could stuff it with something I could eat. Dum da dum. However, I would like to save one for my daughter because I think she might like to try it. So let's squish them up and drop it in. It's got chia and flaxseed. It's very dry. And it's made with bean flour and fava flour. Fava beans. It's an English beans. I forget the other name for it. Anyway, these are what I made yesterday for my... But then I just pigged out on them last night. Now I don't want any more. Okay, so now it's all in there. It's going to be infused with the turkey juices and some salt. Okay, done. And I've got to read what it says here. So this is a 4-kilogram turkey, which is, I don't know, 8 to 10 pounds or something. And so it's got to cook, if you cook it at 350, it will take 3 to 3.5 hours. Okay, let's see what time it is. Had to shut the fire down. Okay, so it's 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. We're not going to eat until the afternoon, so I'm going to put it on at 300. Now it's 350 in there right now. So it's hot. It's 350 heat, but I'm going to turn it down to 300, so it only stays at 300. And if I cook it for all day, like 8 hours or something, it will totally fall apart and melt in your mouth, which is what I want. Can't believe I'm using this gluten-free stuff for stuffing. Should probably put water in it, shouldn't I? Okay, now you have to cross the legs back, but I can't touch you because then I'll get you all dirty. So anyway, you cross the legs back the way they were. You find this chunk of skin, wherever it is. Oh yeah, it's up above the tail. You see there? You stick one leg in, you close the tail, and you stick the other leg in. So there you have it. But it's all falling apart here now. You see, because you got relaxed. Okay, but I didn't stuff the other end. Now the other end, I could try stuffing it with like regular flour. I mean regular bread. I could stuff it with Christmas stollen. That would be so cool. Do you want to try it? What have we got to lose? Just the nice look of the end of this Christmas stone. I think I'll just do it. Because otherwise, I think nobody might eat my Christmas stone all year. Oh man, is that amazing. This is the Christmas stone they made the other day. Oh man, that is so good. I love Christmas stone. Okay, so we'll stick it in here. We got a special curve to this situation here. Let's see if we can get this in there in one piece. Ooh, it's in there. Look at that, and there's room. Let's put another one in there. I think that's going to be the best Christmas stuff ever. And I have not moved any germs onto the Christmas stone. Wow, I can't believe I made Christmas stone. Look at that. Oh, it's so good. Okay, I can eat it. So I won't think about it anymore. Okay, so I'll turn you over. And just slip this down in here. Christmas stone for the turkey. Thanks. Just gives him a nice head. When the raisin looks like an eye. I have to show him to you. Okay, I gotta wash my hands first. So tuck it under his wing. There we go. It doesn't really look all that happy there. Let's wash this off and then we'll look at it. Handle of it. Did you know that soap does not kill the germs. It makes the water wetter so the germs run off your hands. Homemade soap. Some of these kill germs. But I think you're not supposed to get rid of all the germs. You're only supposed to get rid of those ones that are supposed to get rid of. Okay, so he's pretty cute. I'm going to take a photo of him. How am I going to take a photo of him if you're in the photo? If you're in the picture. Okay, so I got to turn you around. There he is. Look at that. He's ready for takeoff. Da-dum, da-dum. Here we go. Looks like some kind of a dinosaur. Flying dinosaur. He really wants to be flipped over. Means I have to touch him again. Oops, why am I doing so much to me now? Okay, here we go. Let's have a little flip over. I'm going to have a towel ready to touch after I touch you. Maybe not. Okay, so I turn you over. He flies through the air. He's got his legs tied now. He's full of all this good stuff. He's got Christmas stone in the bottom. A Christmas stone in his neck. And he's got gluten-free cookies in this other part. He looks rather exposed. And certainly there's not a lot of cracked cookie stuff filling that up. But we have the Christmas stone in here. I can't eat that, but I can eat that. And then, of course, the rest of my family, they'll just eat whatever they like. Okay. Or don't like, as the case may be. So here we go. Must be Christmas. Oh, wait, I forgot. My mother always covered it. And the covered it, then you got the moisture that's soaking in and what has happened to the aluminum foil? Is there aluminum foil? There is no aluminum foil, but maybe there are pieces of aluminum foil. Sometimes Nancy yesterday is too smart. And she saved things for Nancy today. So, what have we got? Let's see how big it is. Dun-dun. Look at this. It's not going to hold the moisture in very well, but now my mother used to put water in the pan, which would then soak into the chicken, or it would evaporate up into the thing. And of course, now if you put the shiny side up, it'll take longer. So you gotta put the shiny side down. And this is going to slow down the cooking time just a little bit. But that's okay. It'll hold the moisture in. Should have covered the whole thing. Why do I get up so early? Because I went to bed when I felt tired, which was at 6:30. So now I'm up. Dun, dun, dun. I figure I could stay up late when I'm tired and just push the clock and do not accomplish anything but sit around and watch TV. Or I could go to bed because I have no energy, and then when I get up, I've got energy again. And so I can just go to sleep when I don't have any energy instead of waste a lot of time. And then your day, I think your energy is, for me, my energy starts to wane like around 2 or 3. And after that, I don't really accomplish much of anything. So if I want to do something, I have to do it in the morning before that time. And if I get up really early, my energy seems to still last longer. What did you say? Self-deprecating princess? Oh no, you have negative self-talk going on? Hi, wise monkey. Yes, I will be well and happy. And Merry Christmas. So look, we did it. We've got the turkey in the oven. Yay, what time is it? It's 5:45. So how long should I cook it? Well, let's see. What does it want? It wants 2.5 to 3 hours. But I'm cooking it at 300 instead of 350. So maybe I'll start it up higher. I think I'll put it back up to 350 to begin with. And then let it after it gets real hot, then I'll turn it down and let it just be at 300. And how many hours do I want to do this for? 3 is the minimum. How about 6? How about 8? So it's 6 o'clock now. 6 and 6 is 12. And 2 is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is a good time. So let's put it in for 8 hours at 300. All right, so we'll push the timer. And then we'll just lean on this button for a long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Eight hours, and we'll push start. There. Now that turkey should fall apart. Except that it's not all the way covered, so it might just burn the heck out of it. So, and I didn't put much water in it. I should put some water in it, shouldn't I? I'll do it my mother's way. I'll go get some water. I have to get water out of the bathroom because somehow the kitchen faucets are hard water, no, soft water. So I have to bypass it. So somebody missed the bathroom sink. Thank goodness. I'm back. You know what my mother used to do, actually? She would put potatoes on the bottom underneath the turkey. She would cut them in half. And then she would just put all these potatoes all over the bottom, and then she put the turkey on top, and then she covered the whole thing with aluminum foil really tightly. I have aluminum foil. There is a long aluminum foil somewhere. Somewhere out there. Okay. I go dare make noise. It's Christmas morning, you know. I had a baby Christmas morning. I wandered up and down those halls for hours, for 3 days. I was in labor for days and days, but he was coming face first instead of back of the head first, and they couldn't turn him, and so he used forceps, which I knew was a bad idea, but it didn't affect him at all. I don't know why it was because he was a good doctor. He used acupuncture. But once he finally broke my water, it made a whole bunch of difference. That wasn't very successful. Chicken on my fingers again. Now I have to wash my hands. There's a lot of washing hands when you get chicken on your fingers. I don't think it used to be this bad. Like if you had your own chicken, people would say things about it, but I think it's the mass productions that is changing the way we have to deal with our food. I remember I went and laid down and I told Abraham, if you want to make some bacon and eggs, can you make enough for me alone? And I went to sleep. Never thought about it again. Do I have to clean the kitchen again? Again? This is too much kitchen cleaning for me. It's all so confusing. There's just so much of it. And then I guess I have all my mother's stuff there too that I was cleaning, all these additional cutlery and things. Guess I'll try to choose this way. And you're up early because you are what? What does this say? Oh, you're sick. I'm sorry you're sick. Merry Christmas, Leanne. Merry Christmas. Oops, wait a minute, go away. What is this now? Nicole, you're in Barcelona? Good grief. How fun. Well, Merry Christmas over there. Trying to whip my house into shape. I've made good progress. I was gonna make sugar cookies. I would rather make sugar cookies than clean my kitchen. I found a set of knives. My mother had this buffet in the dining room, and everything precious was in the buffet. There was a couple of those kind of tables, and so now I went and looked in the buffet, and there was a set of knives. So now I have a set of knives. These say GB, which is my grandmother, Georgie Bear. I love playing with my grandma's dishes. Look at this, a silver spoon that's something about Texas. Do you recognize that building? It's an oil rig. A silver spoon of... Oh, well, I went to bed about 6, so... Because I was out of energy and I was just going to sit and watch television. And so now I'm up and I'm... Gotta do something. So Merry Christmas. I really feel for those people for whom Christmas is not any fun today. Because I felt really bad when I woke up. I had all this negative self-talk about what I was accomplishing or what I had gotten for people. And, let it go. It's the second time I've done that. Look at these. These gorgeous. They're maps. The old world. All this stuff was my grandparents. They were probably martini glasses, Like my father and my grandfather would have martinis. I don't know what this glass is. Was that a Tom Collins cup or something? We don't drink, so I don't know those things. Okay, it's getting there. Get this container, and on the back it says Russian tea. My grandmother, she was born in 1899. My parents went, when my grandparents died, my dad and his sister, the 2 kids, they went and they divided all the stuff. I think it still smells like Russian tea. Wow, it's like a kaleidoscope. You like that? Anyway, kind of a nice smell. A container I don't need, and will never use. But I'll put it right there because it was my grandmother's. There's a little toothbrush of some little person. A Crayola toothbrush. So I've got this sort of tidy. If I'm going to make Christmas sugar cookies, that would be in here. Cookies. Oh, see this thing? See this thing? I brought this back from my mom's. I can't remember its origins, but I think I had something to do with it. I didn't make it. It's for putting your cookbook in. Put your cookbook there. And it holds it at the right angle. It's not, everything's not going to change pages. Okay, sugar cookies. Wouldn't it be fun to make a gingerbread house? I would love to do that. But that's a lot of work. So sugar drop cookies, rich roll cookies. Roll cookies. So you have a half a cup of sugar, half a cup of butter, teaspoon of vanilla, 2 eggs, 2.5 cups of sifted flour, 2 teaspoons of double-acting baking powder, and salt. So you use baking powder instead of baking soda. See, baking powder you usually think of with cakes, but there's no liquids in here. But baking soda you think of with cookies, but if you're going to cook it right now, then you need the baking soda. But if you're not going to cook it right now, baking powder is a longer acting thing, so it'll, like if you put baking powder in your muffins, there's these bran muffins that are amazing, and the dough is amazing. And I remember babysitting once, and there's this person that had this dough in the fridge. It was like a liquidy kind of a dough, and I remember tasting that, and being amazed at how good it was. So that had baking powder in it, so it was longer acting, so that you could store it in the fridge and use a bit now and a bit later. You know, every time you want to make muffins, you just go and take some from that batch in the fridge. I'm imagining that's what was going on there, but maybe I'm totally wrong. So rich roll cookies, and just roll cookies. Chill the dough 3 or 4 hours before rolling. Preheat oven to 375 to roll and cut. See about rolled cookies above. Place cookies on a greased cookie sheet. You may decorate them with sugar and cinnamon, or colored sugar. I got those things. Okay, so what's the difference in this and shortbreads? Let's go back to the spritz. Do you remember what page that was on? Spritz are cookie press cookies. Should probably be doing my table. Where is it? It's not under cookies and bars. I have this cookie cookbook I had. It was a Betty Crocker cookie cookbook. If you can find a used copy of that, that had the best brownies. You could make them you could make them with cocoa. You add cocoa and oil and sugar, and then that's your chocolate. And then you just add that to the recipe, and you have brownies. I could make that. Cookie presser cooks. Okay, so they've used 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 1 cup of butter and 2 1/4 cups of flour, plus egg yolks and vanilla. But this one, without it, where are we now about this? It's gone. Okay, it was here beside the Santox roll cookies. Okay, so they've used equal white sugar with butter and 2 eggs, whereas lose these pages. There's only so few. It says cookie press right beside it. My mother used to love hermits. I should try them. Okay, so here's the roll cookies. 1/2 cup white or brown, and 1/2 cup of butter, and 2 eggs. And the cookie press is 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 1 cup of butter. So there's less sugar. And then 2 egg yolks. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and this is 2.25 cups of flour, baking powder. You used to be able to get self-rising flour. There was the regular flour and self-rising, which already had your baking powder or your baking soda and salt in it. Self-rising. I don't remember if it had baking soda but you couldn't use self-rising flour if you were making the other kind. Okay, so let's go back to this. So the roll cookies. So we have to have equal white sugar and butter, vanilla, 2 eggs, flour, baking powder. But most of the roll cookies, the butter is really amazing. I don't have a lot of butter. I don't have any butter. But I'm taking Elida's butter, which is right here. I'm going to check and see if she has more butter. No, she doesn't have any more butter, so I'm gonna half it with almond butter. I can't eat them anyway, so what difference does it make if they taste good? Must be Christmas morning. I still don't have my gifts wrapped. I should do that, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna use. Nancy, because people are sleeping and it's Christmas morning. We should have Christmas music on. Okay, Google, play It Came Upon a Midnight Clear.
All right, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear.
Okay, Google, turn up the volume. It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. See if you figure out what I'm talking about. Okay, Google, play It Came Upon a Midnight Clear.
Okay, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, 1957 by Frank Sinatra. Here it is on Google Play Music.
Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna make that makes all the difference, doesn't it? Good morning. So that's about a 1/2 cup of almond butter. Christmas is about. It's not about this presents and if I wrapped it or if I got enough or anything. Who cares? It's all about my friend. I'm just scraping him off here because it's kind of hard. Open skies they come, peaceful wings unfurl. That's what Christmas is about, eh? I felt bad last night that I was just too tired. I didn't get up and go read the Christmas story to the children, or the night before Christmas, but I told them the story for the last couple of days. Okay, so we've got almond butter and that. So we'll add vanilla. Play. Okay, Google. Play Frank Sinatra, Christmas.
Playing Frank Sinatra on Google Play Music.
All right, so I got that much in there. Then I don't have a beater yet. I don't think that one's it either. Okay, what's another Christmas carol we should hear? Okay, Google. Play Joy to the World.
Sure, Joy to the World by Pentatonic. Playing on Google Play Music.
I really like the traditional music, the carols that were sung hundreds of years ago. Okay, Google. Play Christmas carols from the 1800s.
Good Christian folk, and listen by the choir of St. Paul's Cathedral, Shore. Playing on Google Play Music.
Okay. I like having this music on. Okay, so I'm melting the butter here. Okay, so now I add sugar. So I've got about a cup of stuff in there. I've never really measured. I always just pile it up so it looks like the same thickness, same size pile. And I don't use molasses in these because they're not supposed to be good for you. They're supposed to be, you can roll them out and decorate them. Hang them on the tree, or eat them if you just have to. But I haven't been able to eat any of these at all this year. It's so hard making this stuff and not being able to eat it. But I haven't eaten it. I haven't had any bites because I know that if I eat this stuff, I will gain back 65 pounds. How much have I lost? Like I'm 150 or 155, somewhere in between there. I always feel like I'm getting really fat if I get up beyond 155. Isn't that silly? 65, 75, 85, 95, 105, 115, 125. So that's 70 pounds. So my grandmother and the Christmases that we had when I went to my grandmother's, those are all over, you know. We used to sit there under that Christmas tree. She always had a very strange Christmas tree. It wasn't like my Christmas tree. And think she had a pine. We always got a fir, like maybe a spruce or a balsam, maybe a balsam. But we would all sit around there, my cousins and I, the three of us and the three of them. And that was so nice. Christmas mornings with Heather. Should send her a message. Okay, so now I've mixed my sugar in there with the roll quick. So a half a cup of sugar and half a cup of butter. Beat in a teaspoon of vanilla. So since I've used so much more than all that, I'll use a lid of it. The size of the lid matters. You might want to measure it. Take your tablespoon measure and see if that's the same, or teaspoon, so you know. You don't have to measure it every single time you use that container. You can write it on the bottle if you're going to forget. Do you remember when I made my cups the other day? So I measured them. This is a 1 3/16 cup. And this is a 1 cup. And this is a 1 1/4 cup. And this is a 1 1/2 cup. Isn't that great? So I can't put them away because these are my measuring cups. Perfect. Just perfect. I could put them up here. I could put my organic paprika in that one. I could put my organic curry powder in that one. My other organic curry powder in that one. And I put my pepper in this one. There we go. Just save that cookie up there. Okay, so we got our stuff in here. Now we're going to add some eggs. Now what does it want? It wants complete eggs. I like that. Look at this. This is what Desmond made for Mommy. Oh, is it all backwards? Is what you're seeing what I'm going to see? Well, maybe you could look through it. Thank you, Leanne. This is Mom. Here's your cup of orange juice. Is yours. Oh, this. Oh, that must be. This cup of orange juice is yours from Desmond. Isn't that sweet? All right, there's 2 eggs. See, when you cook, if you know the principles of cooking, then you can add your own stuff. You know, if you know what goes into making cookies, that you have to have sugar and butter, or sugar and an oil, or a sweetener and an oil, and eggs, which then will connect them together, and as an emulsifier, and also give it lift. And then you add flour enough to stick it together. The less flour, the more they're going to spread, and the more flour, the tighter they'll be. Then, if you add water, it changes to cake. If you add a little water, it's biscuits. If it's a little more water, it's bread. If it's a lot of water, it's cake. So, of course, with bread, that's got to, it's different. Like if you're going to make Christmas stone, that's really like cake. Cake with yeast in it. So you start off with a regular bread recipe, which is water, wheat, and yeast. But like sugar, so if you add sugar, it grows. You don't need a mixer to mix. If you can't do these things because they're lumpy, if you take it against the side of your pan, the back of the spoon, oh, I can eat the turkey. I'm gonna eat the turkey and the vegetables. And this is just for everybody else. And if nobody wants to eat it, I'm gonna package it all up and give it to the neighbors or something. I took some to a friend of mine that's paralyzed. She's a member of our church, and we found out she was there. We didn't know she was there before that, but when we found out we were there, we started taking turns going to visit her. And now she's our friend. And she's so grateful because that's the only church she gets is us. And she really means a lot to her. Okay, end of almond. Okay, and so we've got our eggs and our vanilla and our butter. Our butter and sugar. Now we're going to add our flour. So it wants 2.5 cups of baking flour, of all-purpose flour, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So, what you need to know is 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Hey, what's going on over there? Have you fallen asleep? Had a hard night. What's happening? Maybe I've got too many things happening here.